Excellency Rigathi, Deputy President, all protocols observed. First, I want to thank you, Your Excellency, and the President for profiling what is clearly a major threat to our nation's future. I believe that your personal engagement and the support of His Excellency the President will go a long way in helping us crack this problem. Your Excellency, for us at the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, we have identified what we consider the greatest threats to our country's future. And this is one of them. Among the three national security threats is number one, terrorism. And although we have not had terrorist attacks for a while, all our energies and focus in this sector are geared towards remaining alert and focused to detect, thwart, and deal with any attempt to hurt our country by terrorists. And I want to commend our officers who are helping us in this fight for sustaining for some time now a very, 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 very successful effort. The second threat is the threat of cattle rustling, which is affecting approximately 9 counties, out of which we have put in place measures, specific security measures in 5 of them. The problem of bandits. The third problem, or the third threat, is what we are talking about here today, which is the trade, use, abuse of illicit alcohol as well as psychotropic substances and drugs. This is a problem that is likely to impair Kenya's future in a big way unless it is addressed. Your Excellency, I want to assure you and the country that at the Ministry of Interior, having profiled the problem of alcohol and drug abuse as part of the top 3 national security threats, we will support the national effort to tackle this problem with the same vigor, commitment, focus, and finality that we are continue to apply in the other 2 threats which I've identified, which is the fight against terror and the fight against bandits attacks. I know I have had discussions with elected leaders from this region, and they have said they would want all of us in the ministry, The same way we have waged a sustained war on bandits to also come and camp here and other parts of the country that are affected and wage a similar, if not more vicious war against the terror of drug and substance abuse. I know, Your Excellency, in your opening remarks, you did highlight and point out the complexity of this matter. And you carefully advised all of us to be candid because the matter is complex. We cannot come here and pretend. And I think for us to resolve this matter and address it with finality, we must be open to each other and tell each other the truth as a country, because this is about our country. It's not about another country. It's about us. It's about our families, our children, and our future. The police have work to do. KRA has work to do. KEBS has work to do. Our political leaders have work to do. Everybody has a job to do. I want to assure you, Your Excellency, for us, we are aligned to the vision of the President and yourself to make sure we get Kenya out of this menace. We'll not spare any effort, and based on the recommendations of this forum and the other forums that will be taking place in other parts of the country, we give you the highest assurances of our commitment to implement the decisions that will be owned by these stakeholders gathered here today and that will be gathered elsewhere. Finally, Your Excellency, because today is not my day to talk, today is my day to listen. I want to say that however complex and difficult and challenging this problem is, however entrenched the problem is, however powerful and complicated the players are, nothing, and I dare repeat, nothing can defeat the collective resolve of a country determined to save its future. I believe we can get rid of this problem. It will be costly, but it can be done. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, everybody. I look forward to taking notes on my homework, which I should carry home this evening as my contribution to this national effort to redeem our future. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Let's give him another round of applause, please. Thank you very much, our CS Interior. The next speaker, I want to request the Chair of the Council of Governors, Her Excellency, Madam Anne Waiguru, to address us. Karibu, Mheshimiwa.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, my colleague governors who are present, led by our host, Governor of Plenary, Waziri for Interior, Professor Kindiki, all elected leaders, members of parliament and Senate, led by our majority leader, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, the entire security sector that is represented and led by the IG, the DIG, and the RC. All protocols observed. Good afternoon. Your Excellency, allow me to start by thanking you for this initiative, and thank you most sincerely because as a Council of Governors, we had an opportunity to have a briefing on the issue of alcohol and substance abuse when we had our retreat. Your Excellency, during that retreat, if you recall, the governors were quite surprised because we were given not statistics just for the central region, but for the entire country. A lot of the times when the conversations come about alcohol this because when the bar owners and me got into a conflict, the county government of Kirinyaga and the bar owners, if you remember, they actually told me that I am not being very good and I'm not a very good governor because my neighbor, one of my neighbors, is allowing them to do the things that I'm refusing to be done in Kirinyaga. And I said it in the media, I said, then go open your business in the neighbor's county. Don't come to force this county to change the laws because you want to be allowed to go beyond the hours and to also serve, let me say, second generational alcohol. So the issue of legislation that is cuts across the nation. A national legislation would be a great step so that we're not negotiating at this level. And Your Excellency, I'll push it a little further. Not just legislation saying how many bars, where they should be, what category etc., but even limiting the number. So you say, like we say for health centers, for example, we all know that we should have a health center every 7 kilometers, minimum. We can find a way of limiting the number of bars, especially per distance and per population. So everybody knows that beyond this distance, I do not expect to find drinking joint. Your Excellency, the final thing that I would want to suggest, and I hope that we'll all be able to collaborate, not just in central Kenya, but across the country, is the issue of bringing all the leaders, including all the leaders at the county level, to the table. Your Excellency, I know this meeting is mostly for policy makers and practitioners, but I will tell you the greatest help that I have had in the fight against illicit brews in Kirinyaga has been from my county assembly. And the reason being, even when they tried to call the county assembly, even when they tried to lobby to change our legislation at the county level, because I had already engaged them and they were supporting, they refused. And so Kirinyaga has been able to retain the numbers the way they are. So I will request you, Your Excellency, you may consider calling the MCAs, not just the representative by the Speaker and the Majority Leader, but the members of the County Assembly in this region and everywhere to understand the importance of adopting the legislation as is from the national government. I think that will go a very long way to save on time and to also enable us to have quick wins to ensuring that we are curbing the menace for drug and substance abuse. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Chair, Council of Governors. She has given us a very good contribution. The one who will follow her will be Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, the Leader of Majority in our National Assembly. Karibu Mheshimiwa. Let's give him a loud applause.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, all protocols observed. Your Excellency, let me begin by thanking you for organizing this forum for all of us to come together to look for solutions. And I want to join you and the CS Kindiki in what you have said, that we must not make this forum and others that will follow to be a finger pointing and blame game forum. Because as a governor, Kirinyaga has said, we must accept that we have a big problem. I think from the statistics that came from NACADA, it's quite clear that this problem is bigger in our region than anywhere else in the country. And it is not that, Your Excellency, the people of the Mount Kenya region are all partakers of drugs and love alcohol more than anything else. Just that by the nature of our people, we are a very enterprising community, and a community that looks for opportunities wherever people think or believe that they will make money. But I think it is time that we come to the realization that, as many of the speakers that have spoken before me have said, that there has to be a price that we will pay. Our county governments may have to live with the fact that they will lose a few channels of revenue. And so will the national government. I was just engaging with the Acting Commissioner General of KRA, and I was reminding her, in 2015, I sponsored a law, the Alcoholics Amendment Act of 2015, that sought to create sought to do two things, three actually. One was to declare alcoholism as a disease, because indeed alcoholism is a disease. And we are asking our religious leaders to preach to our young people the dangers of alcoholism and try to speak them out of alcoholism. But you cannot speak someone out of a disease. You cannot preach someone out of a disease. You have to treat them. And therefore, I want to agree with the speaker who spoke from Nakada that we must work together with our county governments to ensure that we establish rehabilitation centers as treatment centers in all our counties in this region to treat those of us who are sick from the disease of alcoholism. The second objective of that bill or act of parliament was to make alcoholic drinks that are healthy affordable to many of our people. And we created a provision within our laws, the Excise Duty Act, to give 90% excise duty remission to beers that were produced from sorghum and millet. And the Honorable CS, who was then the senator for Tharaka Nithi, I engaged him because many of his farmers had suffered because they could not market the sorghum and millet that they were growing, especially the sorghum that they grow in Tharaka Nithi and parts of Kitui County and parts of Kericho, not Kirinyaga. But then successively, Your Excellency, our own government, between 2016 and 2021, in every finance bill we have targeted excise duty, the same excise duty on that beer. It's now, I think, at a 50% remission. And looking at data from beer manufacturers and even from KRA, they will tell you, successively, national government revenues from excise duty on alcohol has been going down. The uptake of second and third generation alcoholic drinks has also been going up. Therefore, there is some correlation between higher taxes on parts of the alcoholic drinks that are being sold and the uptake of illicit drinks. And therefore, there are hard decisions that we must make. And that we will not do with just KRA, we will not do by pointing fingers at our administrators and our police, who will in turn, as I was saying in the holding room, Your Excellency, the police will point fingers at the judiciary will point fingers at the county governments, and for those of us who are members of parliament and MCAs, we will point fingers at everybody. But that does not give us a solution. And therefore, I want to pray, Your Excellency, that these forums will come up with tangible and long-term solutions to the problem that bedevils not just our region, but our country. Your Excellency, I just want to conclude by saying from the National Assembly and Parliament, we shall do and endeavor to do whatever it will take. If there are laws that we need to change, it will not take us more than 3 weeks to do public participation and push those bills or amendments that we need to do. Because we must rescue, as you said, Your Excellency, a generation of young people that is going to waste. In another 10 to 15 years, this region will not have any productive young people. We pride ourselves as a region that we are enterprising, we are productive, we are rich, and we are many. But I was being challenged because when some other data was projected here, and I'm sitting next to my Governor Wamatangi, Kiambu was leading with the highest number of bars, highest number of wines and spirit shops, highest number of bars and restaurants. And I was telling my governor, these bars and restaurants is basically a bar with a bowl of smoky sausages, and they are licensed. But then, the other presenter came on education, the regional director education. And we noticed with my governor that between 2019 and 2020, there was an upsurge of ECD students or pupils being registered in ECDs. Then the member of parliament for Nyeri Town and Nomba Ukanini Kega said that isio ciana muraciarirwo ni andu angĩ ti cianyu. But I want to confirm, Your Excellency, that those children registered in ECD centers in Kiambu are our children. We are siring those children. It is not outsiders who are siring those children for us. And we want to continue siring these children, Your Excellency. And therefore, I am saying that because Kiambu, we must look at Kiambu in a very special way, because we have many challenges. Ruaka in Kiamba constituency, Your Excellency, and you were there when we were campaigning in Ruaka about a year and a half ago. Ruaka today is worse than Mombasa city was years ago in terms of hard drugs. All manner of nationalities from Western Africa now reside in Ruaka, vending drugs and using very innocent young people and mothers carrying babies on their backs, carrying diaper bags and vending drugs, hard drugs. But the interesting thing, Your Excellency, at a forum like this 3 weeks ago in Dogoto, at Dogoto Teachers College, and we were being told there is a lady who is known who moves with drugs from Kawangware to Dogoto with a baby strapped on her back and a diaper carrying bag that carries bags. But residents know the lady. The police, of course, know the lady. The chief, definitely, if the population, the people know, the chief must also know. But she's untouchable. That is a story in every village in our region, Your Excellency. And that's why I'm saying, let us not point fingers at the police, let us not point fingers at our administrators, let us not point fingers at our governors, let us point fingers to ourselves, all of us collectively, and say that we have failed. But it is time to now act. I was saying Kiambu, because of our proximity to Nairobi, we are a special case, and you must look at us as a special case. We are more endangered in this region more than any other county in the region, Your Excellency, and we will plead that whatever you do from our county commissioner, let us put a lot of effort in Kiambu. With those very many remarks, Your Excellency, rest assured that whatever we have to do as members of parliament, both in the National Assembly and in the Senate, we shall do to make sure that we have legislative proposals and interventions that will help to cure our nation from this cancer of alcohol, drugs and substance abuse. With those many remarks, asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki.
Tumuongezee makofi. Asante for that assurance from the National Assembly. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, next speaker, I want to call upon the Inspector General, the National Police Service, to come and give his remarks. Karibu Banaiji. Give him a round of applause.
Naibu Rais wa nchi yetu tukufu, SCS Interior, a chair, a council of governors, magavana ambao wako na sisi leo, leader of majority kwa bunge letu, MPs, MCAs, other government officials with us today, my colleagues in the security sector, wananchi watukufu. Your Excellency, I would like first to thank you most sincerely for bringing us together to discuss this worrying and disturbing matter. Mheshimiwa Naibu Rais, pahali tumefika, enough is enough. Ulevi kusema ukweli umezidi. We are not careful, we are going to lose our generation. We are not careful, tutakuwa na naibu rais ambaye ni mlevi. We are not careful, tutakuwa na inspector general anakuja hapa ni mlevi. Tutakuwa na CS wakati unakuja ambaye ni mlevi. Enough is enough. Your Excellency, I wish to declare my interest. I know last evening I talked to my CS. Akaniambia tumeitwa kule Nyeri kuongea mambo ya ulevi. Sasa kwa nini tuache watu wa nyumbani kule, na shinda ni kubwa zaidi? Na ndio sababu tumeita County Police Commander wa Embu yuko hapa. County Commander, Police Commander wa Tharaka Nithi yuko hapa. Uko shida ni kubwa. County Police Commander wa Meru yuko hapa, including the Regional Police Commander wa Eastern. Kwa sababu tulisema mambo ya Mount Kenya yanazungumzwa, kwa nini tuachwe nje? Yale mazuri yanatoka huko, hata sisi tuwe pale. Mheshimiwa Makamu Rais, na nilikutajia pale asubuhi, nikienda kule nyumbani kwetu, ulevi, vijana wamelewa kabisa. Ilibidi juzi niweke 10 au walevi nizungumza nao, wamelewa. Waona kijana ni mdogo miaka 20 amenona kabisa, uso umefura, na ni pombe tu. Sasa nikauliza, huu levi si hata hiyo ini yako utachoma? Your Excellency, nilikuwa nakueleza, mmoja aliniambia, wewe Inspector General, mambo ya ini yangu usitaje. Huyo liver akae kando, ninyo pombe ipite. Kwa nini huyo liver anakuja kwa barabara ya pombe? That is how far. That is how bad things are. We can't continue that way. Enough is enough. Na Sister Sibama hapa kama Inspector General to be on the defensive. Nikiangalia hapa naona uniform imejaa hapa. Na mimi naongea kwa niaba ya wale wote from the security sector. Tuko wengi hapa. Kusema ukweli, hatuta kujaribu kusema sisi ni wasafi. Sisi ni kama pamba. Tukubali. Tusiwe on the defensive. Iko shida. Na si vizuri tushinde hapa kuongea. Wenzangu, tumeleta deputy president hapa, tumeleta magavana wameketi hapa tangu asubuhi mpaka saa huu, hawa wananchi wote. Then once we leave here, there is no action. It can't happen. Your Excellency, we have a WhatsApp forum now, commanders. I told them part of their performance contract with me, di pale kila asubuhi wanapost jana zile raid walifanya ya pombe, wanapost kwa WhatsApp group picha, naona. But we are not doing enough. We are not doing enough. Officers wenzangu in uniform, hata kama iko tunasema we independent, hapana, iko interdependence. Na all the elected officials wale wako hapa, I've asked my officers to work with the elected officials. They have no option. They must work with you. Kwa sababu County Police Commander hapa can be transferred. But can we transfer Governor Kaiga? So if you don't work with the governor here, although atusemi naye governor akishika walevi, wewe police officer ukishika regional commander ukishika walevi wamejaa kwa seli, mimi najua governor atakupigia simu achilia. Na hiyo tukubaliane, elected officials. Kwa sababu hii kazi tutaifanya. Na maofisa wengu tumekubaliana. I told the deputy president this morning, and I'm not threatening anybody. Najua kuna mengine tutazungumza kule baadaye, lakini we are not going to transfer a problem. If you are OCS Kiamariga, pale bangi imezidi na ulevi umezidi, why do I transfer you to Kirinyaga? Is that the right thing to do? I'm transferring a problem. Aya, kazi lazima tufanye. Your Excellency, tumekuwa accused, tunachukua vitu kule. Na labda ni vizuri Deputy President yako hapa. Ma-OCS ila mailetea IG kitu, labda mnaenda mkurokota kule mkisema mnapelekea nani? Uko juu. Yule mailetea mimi hapa, County Commander, OCPD, Regional Commander wao kuniletea. Your Excellency wapiga saluti. Simama wapiga saluti, Your Excellency yaone. Waniletea kitu. Kwa hivyo wakati wanashika kule na kuachilia, hiyo ni shida yao. Na kila mtu atabeba msalaba wake. I'm not threatening anybody. Because we must, mimi CS wangu waja niuliza kitu. Hako hapa. Hakuna siku ameuliza kitu. His Excellency amenipatia uhuru wa kufanya kazi. And maofisa wenzangu, mimi nitasema mbele ya umati, mko na serikali ambayo inawasikiza. Mlikuwa mmenyang'anywa kwa mambo ya licensing ya bunduki, civilian firearm licensing. His Excellency amewarudishia. Yule sawa na license ni officer mwenzenu. Jana tu Coast Guard ilikuwa na commanded na retired military officers. Jana tu His Excellency appoint a police officer asimamie awe Director General wa Coast Guard. Juzi tu bilioni 20 zimetolewa, mnapata vifaa, bunduki nzuri, ndege za kupigana na wakora wa North Rift. What am I saying? There is a lot of goodwill from the government. Mshahara unatengenezwa. Na mimi najua wakati His Excellency anafunga hiki kikao, mimi najua haya tataja tu. Mambo ya haya tataja, very soon mfuko utakuwa mzuri and you be running to the bank kwenda kuweka kitu. So serikali inaangalia maslahi ya maofisa. Ours, we have a responsibility to give back by serving wananchi wetu watukufu. Hii Ruaka imekuwa kila pahali, Ruaka, Roysambu. Ni ukweli. We have foreigners wamejaa pale Roysambu, wanauza drugs and they are known. Deputy President atuambia saa wakati anakuja hapa alitumua nambari ya gari ya polisi ambayo inarokota pesa. Your Excellency, am I talking too much or? But aliniambia mimi nikiwa kwa ndege, mwananchi wa hapa Nyeri alinitumia namba ya polisi ambaye naenda mahali fulani kuchukua nini? Kurokota kitu. That will not take you anywhere. That is custody money. Therefore, Your Excellency, mine is to assure you that we are committed. This is a fight we must win. Ulevi huwezi endelea. I know there is also another conversation about even ulevi ambayo inaruhusiwa, na hata imekuwa too much. Tunaona kwa barabara baa ziko all the highways, na wamezoea kuweka flat huko watu wanakaa juu kule juu. Sasa unapata mwanaume anakaa kwa pale weightlifting from Friday to Sunday, just weightlifting. I mean, we can't continue this way. Therefore, this is a conversation, Your Excellency, which must continue. This drunkenness, lazima tutaacha. Otherwise, mine is usual and may God bless you. Lakini Your Excellency niruhusu ni introduce huyu DIG is a day old. And he has instructions to hit the ground running. Come, Bwana Kanja. Your Excellency, tunakushukuru kwa kutupa huyu generali. He is a long-serving officer, wealth of experience, and we know him as a person of integrity. Kwanza hiyo vita ya kupigana na pombe, public safety iko kwake. Hii ni siku yake ya pili. So can you a commitment, your commitment, personal commitment?
Your Excellency, our Deputy President, Rigathi, all the governors present, members of Parliament and National Assembly, MCAs, the leadership of the National Police Service headed by the IG, and all the officers present here, good afternoon. To start with, my name is Douglas Kanja Kirosho, formerly the Commandant General Service Unit, and right now the Deputy Inspector General in charge of the Kenya Police Service. First of all is to appreciate our President for finding favor in me and appointing me the Deputy Inspector General. I'm happy about that. In charge of around 75,000 officers who are responsible in the profession of security within our republic to ensure that we have peace and security. We cannot have peace and security when half of the republic is drunk. Our CS was categorical and clear. We have three major challenges. Number one, terrorism. Number two, bandit, cattle rustling. And now number three is alcoholism and the drug abuse. The first two have been dealing with terrorism, cattle rustling, and bandits. That have actually been my field of specialization. Remember, I was the operations commander in Dusit when the Republic was attacked. I went there, I worked for 19 hours together with others, and we were successful. We ensured that we liquidated the terrorists, and we were able to save 1,200 Kenyans and other nationalities who are trapped in the Dusit buildings. I've been deployed in burning down there when there were real troubles of terrorism. Right now, Lamu area, coastal region are quiet. Northeastern is quiet. We are operating in North Rift right now, dealing with the bandits. And I want to assure you, Your Excellency, that it's just a matter of time. That area will be quiet, like any other areas within this republic. Now, I'm going to deal now with the issues of drugs, alcoholism. And for your information, I happen to come from this county. I've been born here, brought up here, educated in this county. My people are here, my family, my friends, and everybody else is here. I am pained by what we are seeing here. My small shopping center, half of them are drunks. So it's a big challenge, but we are equal to the task. I want to assure you, Your Excellency, that we are going to walk this journey together with others and everybody of goodwill. At the end of the day, we are going to succeed because we have even succeeded where things were very thick. Even this one, I want to assure you that we are going to succeed. Our fellow officers, I count on you to support us so that we can be able to eradicate this menace. We will be having separate discussions so that we can be able to see how best we can be able to deal with these issues. As our IG has said, internally we have our own problems. We are going to address those problems so that we can be able to also move forward. And with those few remarks, let me say thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, our new Deputy Inspector General, KPS, for giving us a lot of hope and encouragement. I now wish Your Excellency, the Deputy President, to call upon the Acting Director General, Kenya Revenue Authority, Madam Roslyn Simiyu, to give us her remarks. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes. Karibu sana, madam.
Your Excellency, Deputy President, CS Interior, our governors, all governors present, all PSS present, our IG, all our leaders in various sectors of government, in the political sphere, and even our religious leaders, good afternoon. Your Excellency, allow me to make a small correction. I think I've just been baptized by the MC. He called me Roslyn, but I am Rispa. So just following on the concerns of the day, and very many sentiments that have been shared here. Your Excellency, you started by actually setting the right tone and saying that we are not here to point fingers and it's not a blame game. But I think, as the IG has actually said, where there is a problem, it is important to start by acknowledging that there is a problem. When we look across our country and we step back, even in our space as Kenya Revenue Authority, what is our role? Beyond just that core mandate that we have called upon to do of collecting, mobilizing revenue to keep the wheels of this government, of our government running, when you look at this space on the subject at hand that we are discussing today, Your Excellency, we do license excise manufacturers. And as it is now, we do have just about 55 licensed manufacturers, excise manufacturers, of which about 44 are operational. And when we talk about excise manufacturers, we're talking about alcohol manufacturers and cigarette manufacturers, who are just largely two. But what we continue to see, Your Excellency, is that there's an upshoot of, I would call them quote-unquote manufacturers in every corner of our country. And I will not belabor the point because that has been pointed out before. Your Excellency, from where we sit, one of the key issues we have seen is the concern around illicit ethanol. Illicit ethanol, and sometimes even industrial chemicals, are being used to manufacture these alcoholic products. And this is what is damaging our society. Your Excellency, when you look at this illicit ethanol, for starters, and to me I would say perhaps it also goes back to lack of patriotism, and perhaps in some instances greed to make a quick buck. Why? In looking at the cost of excise in our country, or rather cost of excise in the region, Tanzania, our neighbors, the excise on ethanol is actually zero. So there's actually no excise on ethanol. Ethanol, which is the core ingredient that is used to manufacture alcohol. Across, on the other side, Uganda, it is about 79 shillings per liter, plus or minus. If you look in Kenya, it is about 356 shillings per liter. Your Excellency, that starts by saying that just by the realization that we know that the underlying ingredient is costly, you have people bringing the illicit one across the country or from across the borders and using it, and of course, even adulterating it and creating something that is more lethal. As it is now, we are working with the National Treasury to just find a way and a break-even point on the matter of excise, because as the majority leader rightly said, that an increase in taxes is not necessarily, an increase, in excise does not necessarily end up with increase in revenues. So we have so many people sprouting, whereas we even have manufacturers of alcohol who are licensed, and rightly so. The same licensed alcohols are running parallel operations. Your Excellency, ethanol is a problem. 2, and has been said by a previous speaker, low fines and penalties. Both even within our acts, and that is something we are reviewing, and beyond. Thirdly, again, and we acknowledge this, that sometimes we have worked very well with other arms of government, DCI, NIS, and when we agree on a crackdown, unfortunately, information goes beyond us, before us. By the time you get there, you find a different conversation. In some instances where we have actually confiscated these products, we actually put them in some of our designated warehouses, but when you go to pick them as evidence to produce before court, in some instances, Your Excellency, you find them missing. So whereas the partnership is there, and I think the IG appreciate what you've said, that partnership needs to go a notch higher. Your Excellency, in some instances, it gets worse where we have diligent officers who are doing their job, but because of these unscrupulous people, they are threatened. Their lives are threatened, their families are threatened. So again, it goes back to our patriotism. Your Excellency, I also admit that there could be an issue, there's an issue of information awareness. We have a product on the stamps, on these illicit products, we call it track and trace. So we have the stamps, both paper and digital. Unfortunately, again, we acknowledge and we are aware that there are also parallel concerns running parallel stamps. So what we have done is have an app that we call Soma Label. If you download this app called Soma Label, you're able to put it on the stamp, whether digital or paper, and it can actually tell you whether that product is genuine or not. Question is, how many of us then are keen to do that? How many have the capability to do that? Or is it that our society has deteriorated to the extent that all people want is a quick fix? What is in the content doesn't matter. So, Your Excellency, it goes back to patriotism. We are different leaders in with different capabilities and in different offices, just calling upon us to speak one language. Because for KRA, we are spread across the country. We have a division staff that cover across the country. If you look at Central and its environs, we have presence in Nyeri, Embu, Meru, and Thika. We are working on expanding our operations, but we cannot be everywhere at the same time. So calling again on that whole of government approach to move together as one team. Your Excellency, Waswahili wanasema kila soko lina mwenda wazimu wake. And it means right from the home, in our offices, in our spaces, we will not stand here and say we are clean. But it means the important thing is to accept and realize there is a problem. And for that, we truly appreciate this event, this bringing together like-minded people, so that then we can have a sharing of minds and ideas, and of course, speak from the general public. What can we do better? What can we do differently? Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. We apologize for missing out the proper name. Thank you very much. Our last in a series of the speakers, I want to call upon the Managing Director, KEBS, retired Colonel Bernard Giraini. Please let's give him applause as he comes.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Cabinet Secretary, Interior, Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Chair of the Council of Governors, the Chair of the National Parliament Majority Leader, Governors, Permanent Principal Secretaries present, all protocols observed. Good afternoon. My name is Lieutenant Colonel retired Bernard Giraini. I'm the Managing Director, Kenya Bureau of Standards, the agency that is responsible for governing and maintaining standards in the Republic of Kenya. Our overall objective is generally to enhance the business competitiveness through standards and quality. We are therefore there to ensure that we develop the standards that are appropriate for the products that we consume so that we can ensure we sustain safety. In addition to that, we are also the custodians of the national standards. All the measures that are there in the country are also entrusted on KEBS to ensure that we have traceability to international systems of units. And the regulatory work that we also do is to ensure that we inspect all goods coming from abroad to ensure they also meet the standards that we have all agreed. And also, we go out there to ensure manufacturers also are able to manufacture within the parameters that we have agreed. Our scope is wide, and therefore we work with all stakeholders. When it comes to development of standards, and I'm very delighted that all the leaders that have spoken before here have made their commitment to this call by His Excellency the President that we need to eradicate alcoholism and illicit alcohol. We have developed over 20 standards jointly in Kenya and at the East African level. As you know, for us to be able to trade with our partner states, we have to harmonize our standards. We have all these standards that are there to guide us to ensure that whatever we are making, whatever we are importing, is in compliance to these standards. I would like to say from the very onset that we have explored various ways and means to accommodate those that probably need to take alcohol. We have developed a standard for Chang'aa. There is a standard for Chang'aa. And the essence for that was to try to bring on board formalized establishments or farms that can be able to manufacture in an organized, structured way where we have control measures so that we do not have illicit or toxic Chang'aa. In addition to that, we have also developed another standard for cereal beer flour. We have now realized maybe we want to revisit and understand whether some of the measures that we've done have contributed to probably the problem that we have right now. We have, for example, now withdrawn the permit for the cereal beer flour that has been very common in the Mount Kenya region. However, just like CG KRA has said, sometimes when you tighten so much, you also allow unscrupulous traders to circumvent and produce this product outside. So it's a delicate balancing act that we are presented with here. Because most of the data that I wanted to present has been presented by NACADA and KRA, I would like to say that, for example, we have licensed 49 manufacturers. We have given them the permits. We have given the permits, for example, to also produce the potable spirits that we are talking about. And potable spirits, or second generation alcohol, as we call it, is a product that is made out of distilled fermented carbohydrates. But we adjusted the standard. And the standards are made by not Kenya Bureau of Standards. They are made by teams of experts, university professors, all experts. We invite them, they join the technical committees. So the amendment included that other than distillation of fermented carbohydrates, you can also mix neutral spirits in suitable proportion with water to be able to make the potable spirit. What we have seen in that revision is that we may need to review as to whether, as a country, we can afford to delete that part, where you mix the neutral spirit with water. Economically, if you look at that proposal, it would mean the value addition of our carbohydrates, because you have to, first of all, have carbohydrates, ferment, and undertake distillation. That, in general, will promote or accelerate our manufacturing agenda at the moment. We've had discussions with stakeholders in that sector on that proposal, and we'll be waiting for further consultation to see whether we can be able to do away with that. However, I want to report that standard is an East African standard. When it comes to how we do our work, we have engaged our third-party partners, PFUC agents abroad, that give certificates of conformity for products coming into the country. And as they come into the country, we have another layer. We have people at the ports that also draw samples and subject them to test. And I can confirm here that, Your Excellency, out of our surveillance, largely, we have had no major issues in terms of contaminants of products that we receive. When we got out there to control the manufacturers, because before we even permit them, we have to ascertain that they have sufficient control measures on the raw materials, in process, and also production, at the end of the production. And again, out of our report, the official one is that most of the products are complying. The issue that we have in all this process is that subsequently, there are manufacturers who are also counterfeiting their own product. The recent survey that we did, and that is now market surveillance, where we pick products from the supermarkets, we have come to discover that largely people are not even putting enough alcohol. Alcohol is expensive. The failures that we get, the non-compliance that we get is not contaminant, it is reduced amount of alcohol. This is quite shocking because we would expect that there will be much more alcohol than expected. The other contaminant that has been there for some time, but we have managed to control to some extent, is methanol. Methanol is what used to kill people, cause blindness, and poison people in general. Now, we came up with a standard that now requires any methanol that is imported into the country is denatured. And denaturing means that you add a certain chemical that make this product quite bitter, that you cannot be able to consume. So these are some of the initiatives that we've been able to do. Now, when it comes to counterfeiting aspect, because most of the drinks, I would say, are also counterfeited. When you test, when you look around the counterfeited drinks, they obviously cannot meet the standards. And that is where we need to put much, much more effort in eradicating the counterfeited drinks where people are using other people's bottles. Before I conclude, Your Excellency, I would like to also say that we need as a people to be able to create an awareness, win the hearts and minds of our consumers to appreciate the quality. Most of the consumers are not aware the dangers and the cost associated with cheap product. And it is called the cost of poor quality. It comes with a very high cost. The other thing I would like to say, for us to win this war, I don't know whether this is appropriate to say here, but let me say, public officers indulging or participating or in active business of alcohol is also there. And I would request, because I'm a gatekeeper at the port, that the government generally make a policy that deters public officers in engaging in businesses of alcohol. Because we have challenges of consignment. When we are testing them, we also receive pressure. But we undertake inspection based on our mandates. With that, I would request and beg to take a seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the MD, KEBS, Your Excellency, the Deputy President. We are moving to the next session, and I would like to call my colleague, Rose Gakuo, to take us through a very brief session.
Your Excellency, sir, indeed, we continue to take delight in your presence here, and we appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, all the remarks and the input we have received from our stakeholders. At this juncture, Your Excellency, we are crossing over to the culmination of today's exercise, where we'll have the plenary to give room for questions, answers, and input from all members present here. Sir, at this juncture, I wish to acknowledge that we do have our secretariat who will be fast and keep it pacey, collecting all the feedback that we receive to ensure that we have a communique and a way forward that will also assist us in giving a report on this exercise. So before we proceed, seeing that we have all been seated for so long, With your kind permission, sir, if we may be all upstanding just to have a moment to stretch, and then we can go right into the plenary session, as we also have an opportunity to allow our PS Interior, Raymond Omolo, to prepare to moderate over this session. Your Excellency, sir, with your kind permission, the plenary session, ladies and gentlemen, will give us an opportunity and a platform to air our views, seeing that we have been given very significant inputs from subject matter experts, right from the national government administration offices, as well as our elected leaders. Will have a platform for all members present here to air their views so that we're able to build on that. It's a plenary session that will be open. We'll also request studio as well as our team from sound to be ready to avail our public address systems so that we're able to hear from everyone who will be engaging during this plenary session. Interior PS, Raymond Mulder, sir, most welcome as we moderate this session.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, the governors present, led by the Chair, Governor Anne Waiguru, fellow PSS, colleagues, all protocol observed, good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. May I just request that we stand up and stretch a bit. Let's try and stretch. Thank you, thank you. Can we take our seats? Let's take back our seats. I'm sure we are all wondering when we are going for the lunch break. Majority Leader, Host Governor, can we take our seats? Thank you. Now, I would want us to go through this session in the fastest manner possible. If we can do under 1 hour, so that then as we break for lunch, then we are all able to disperse. Now, for the plenary session, and listening throughout the whole morning to all the speakers who've been here, at least I've picked 5 critical things that would be good to speak to as we go towards the closure of this session. One, Your Excellency, is the issue around security, particularly the criminal nature of what we get as an effect of alcohol and drug abuse. There is an element on trade, whether you're looking at it from a business point, also from a revenue perspective. There is an issue around health, and the Majority Leader aptly put it that alcoholism is a disease, but then there are also other health-related issues that are tied to it. Then there are issues around regulations, which are more legal, what needs to be looked at, both at the National Assembly, but at the county assemblies. And the last point from my end is on issues to do with education. How is this affecting education for our children? And is there a need to look at our curriculum just to deal with the issues around alcohol and drug abuse? Your Excellency, the Deputy President, allow me to invite the first speaker for this session, the Governor for Kiambu County, Kimani Wamatangi, just to respond, but more critical, to speak to some of the issues that we need to take away from this forum. Thank you.
So, Governor, while at it, so that we save on time,
Thank you.
part of the guidance is that for the other speakers who will be coming,
Yes.
let's try and avoid being repetitive. So if an issue has been raised, we avoid it, and if you don't have to speak to it, then we allow the next speaker. And we try and be brief to the point. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, protocols observed. Your Excellency, I must first admit that if a book was ever to be written about this journey, I think the introduction, the preface should be written by the County of Kiambu from the statistics that we saw here, Your Excellency. Number two, Your Excellency, but at least the saving grace is that it also showed through the statistics that Kiambu County has taken the most robust steps. And I want to congratulate the team, the security team from Kiambu, Your Excellency, as I make my remarks, because it has shown that our people have been very, very robust and active in this fight. Your Excellency, when we were young men and when we were hunting, instead of waiting for the rabbit in the forest and chase it, mostly we would go to the den. Or if you want to trap a rodent, we would not wait for it and chase it through the woods. We would go to the nest or the hole and trap it from there. It makes work easy. Your Excellency, the first focus that I would want to say is a takeaway and a proposal from myself as a governor of Kiambu, having been the most afflicted. Your Excellency, is that the primary focus should be entirely on the source, the manufacturers, those that go to distribute. And Your Excellency, we have very good comparison here. Number one, the reason why the provincial administration and the police have, at least to a certain extent, succeeded is because when they got to target the illicit brews that are brewed within our areas, they go to the source. You see their photos at the rivers spilling it. You see them in dens spilling it. But when it comes to the bigger menace, as shown by the statistics, which is now those bottled counterfeits and concoctions, those ones are done in factories and protected areas. And they are brought with protected means like trucks and lorries, Your Excellency. When they come here, we try to fight them from the shops, from the wines and spirits areas, and they're already widely distributed. If our focus, Your Excellency, would be entirely on the source where they're coming from, such that when they go and they're moving, we would have already ensured that we have taken a robust step in control, Your Excellency. Number two, Your Excellency, my last thought and proposal is that understandably, and as you have explained in other fora, the judiciary cannot be here for obvious reasons. But it's also acknowledged that indeed the missing critical pin or cog in this matrix is the judiciary. And Your Excellency, the frustration that the judiciary is or has been well spelled out. It is you arrest these people, once you arrest them, you take them there, they are charged peanuts or fined peanuts, and tomorrow they are back to their trade. So Your Excellency, I have a proposal, again arising from the many endeavors and engagements that we have had, and the majority leader of the National Assembly touched on it a little. Your Excellency, what we intend to see or would want to see is a punitive process or an expensive process, Your Excellency, that makes it deterrent. I'll give an example with your permission. The reason why, Your Excellency, in Dubai, there is almost zero enforcement of crime is because it is so expensive to commit even a traffic offense, such that it is in itself a deterrent. If you jump traffic lights in Dubai, your fine is 10,000 dirhams. So you say that 10,000 dirhams times 30 Kenya shillings, that's the fine for jumping traffic lights. And so you will find people obeying without even anyone watching, because when the camera clicks you, then you prepare 30,000 dirhams. Your Excellency, our proposal would be as such that because we are not able to go and enforce inside the judiciary, how do you find these people? With the proposal that the majority leader was making, that indeed, and that was also my thought, that we should have one national legislation that cuts across, and I think also my chair proposed the same, such that then we have those standards in that legislation, Your Excellency. We would be proposing that we make fines for offenses relating to this abuse of the ingrained law, Your Excellency, so expensive that an offender will find it easier to follow. And that way, Your Excellency, we would have some sense of compliance, at least from our end, initiated from our legislature, Your Excellency. And at least because the judiciary will follow the law that has been passed and proposed by the National Assembly, they may not have any other escape but to apply the law as it is. Your Excellency, my thoughts are that if we did that, then at least we would have made those two steps towards ensuring that this is curbed. I'm one of the big victims in this, Your Excellency. In almost 80% of the towns in Kiambu, if you stop there, and Your Excellency, I remember we were with you a few days ago, weeks ago, and you even expressed your dismay that even when you stopped briefly in traffic at Ruaka, you could see activities of vending when you're inside your car. Imagine how it is like for those that live there. And so, Your Excellency, I want to appreciate, as a governor for Kiambu, and with my colleagues here, with the effort that you've taken, and I'm sure that with our team, we are going to do our best, put our best foot forward, and ensure that this fight is won. And as you've started it, Your Excellency, I want to say thank you for this opportunity, and I believe that we are going to work together and succeed together. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Governor. Our next speaker, and I would request you take to your feet and have the mic from where you are. That's the Honorable Betty Maina, the Women Rep for Murang'a County. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, we are so much pleased for you inviting us to this forum. I was not ready, but I can't lack a few things to say. One, we must request our governors that we have to regulate issues to do with licensing of the outlets. I wish the clergy give us the statistics of the number of churches we have in our counties so that we have a comparative advantage. We must say as a region, we are failing, and we are failing big time. So, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, a part of having good intention for this meeting, let us have good action. Let our good intention be accompanied by credible action. Let our action be accompanied by results. We are appealing to you as leaders from this region. The biggest legacy you leave for us is fighting against illicit brews, fighting against drug abuse, fighting against second-generation liquor. When you save the generation, you save the politician, because most of these problems we are dealing with, including fundraisers for the sick and for those people who are in hospitals. Even if you go to most of our orthopedic hospitals, most of the culprits who are there, most of them is a result of maybe motorcyclists who are drunk, or people who are drunk and they were hit and ran. So we are appealing to you with our CS for Interior. You give us support. We are going to give you support. Tutapiga nduru mahali unataka kina mama wapige nduru. Ukitaka tumwage, tutamwaga. Ukitaka tukusaidie kuingia mashinani, tutaingia. Ukitaka tuseme, tutawasema. Tutasema, tutawataja, na tutakushika mkono tukipigana na where we need legislation. As the members of parliament, we are going to offer support. Thank you so much. We don't take this forum for granted.
Thank you, Honorable Betty. Our next speaker is Honorable Kanini Kega. Is he there? Or he stepped out? So then next is Governor Badilisha.
Your Excellency, CS Interior, colleagues, governors, all leaders, I just want to join those who are saying this is a very important meeting Thank you for the opportunity for us to come and listen and also to hear our views. Mine is only two things. Number one, the KEBS officer has told us they have licensed 49 manufacturers. I would propose that we have zoning of those manufacturers so that we are able to know that alcohol can only be manufactured at a certain zone. And anybody who wants to do the business of manufacturing can go to that zone, open a business of manufacturing there, so that the inspection can be easy. Otherwise, when we allow the manufacturing to be everywhere, along the rivers, on top of houses, wherever, we cannot succeed. So I'm suggesting that anybody who wants the business of manufacturing of alcohol, we must know where you are doing it from. That way is going to help us. And number two, for anybody to do the business of alcohol, you must have a building somewhere licensed so that we can come and inspect your building. Otherwise, the fellows who are peddling this business on products, on motorbikes, are the ones who are selling poison. So this must be capped so that if it is here in Nyeri, if you have to do business of alcohol, you must open a shop, you must pay license, you must be somewhere, but you don't want to find people moving all over with the knee. Inaitwa hii gari kidogo inaitwa nini? Probox. That is where the problem is coming, and also hawking. Hawking of alcohol should be stopped. You have heard that in Nyandarua, we don't manufacture. We import. These are the people we are talking about. They come in proboxes. They bring this thing from my friend across Laikipia, Nyeri, and also Naivasha. But if we can say that no hawking of alcohol, this is going to help. And lastly, let us avoid this disjointed approach of fighting alcohol. As governors, nobody should say that we are happy with the licenses. In fact, this menace of alcoholism is always with us. You people are just talking. But for us, these drunkards are in our doors, are in our offices, are in our around our gates. Not that we are happy. And also, like in Nyandarua, for the last 3 years, they went to court. You were told not to correct any license. For 3 years, we have not paid. So they have not paid. So we are saying, let us have this jointed effort, the national government, the police, and ourselves, and I agree that we are not going to put money ahead of everything. This generation is so precious to lose it. And with those, Your Excellency, I say thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor. Can we listen to the Senator for Kirinyaga? Senator for Kirinyaga. Thank you.
Mstahiki Naibu wa Rais, itifika zote zikizingatiwa. Mimi langu ni moja tu, kwa sababu unajua Waswahili wanasema pombe ikiingia bongo hutoweka. Nadhani hilo ndio linatufanyikia sasa katika mkoa wa Kati. Mimi ningesema wakati tunaangalia maneno ya pombe, tuangalie pia pombe ambazo zinauzwa katika social media. Ukiangalia kwa wale young people wenye tuko nao sasa kwa county, wakati wanapanga sherehe sio lazima waende wanunue, waende kwa club ama katika yale maeneo ambayo pombe inanunuliwa. Social media inafaa pia iangaliwe, kwa sababu ni mojawapo ambapo ndawa za kulevya na pombe huwa inapatikananga. Jambo la pili, hii janga la pombe, tuseme ukweli, halifanywi na watu ambao wana pesa. Wengi ni sisi wanasiasa na watu wengine wakubwa katika serikalini. Tukitaka kuwapa wenye wanaangalia mambo ya pombe nguvu, hata mtu akiwa ni mkubwa kiasi gani na anashika katika ile biashara, anafaa ichukuliwe sheria, kwa sababu hata Mswahili inasemanga hata mtoto akikunja ngumi anafaa kuongwa kama mtu mzima. Asante sana.
Thank you, Senator. So next is the Senator for Kiambu, Karungo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. As I stand here today, I must say that I'm very, very happy. Sababu Kiambu kama vile imetajwa, tumetajwa sisi ndio tuko na shida mingi sana kutokana na hiyo pombe. And we have to do something. Your Excellency, we have to come up with legislation proposals that we need to pass both at the Senate and of course at the National Assembly. But good alcohol is good. We are here to talk about the illicit, the drugs, and that kind of alcohol that is maiming our young generation. Your Excellency, we need to ask ourselves a question. I have worked in China, allow me to give that example. They sell alcohol in their normal dukas, kiosk. Anywhere you go, you find they have alcohol in their shops. But you'll never find a drunkard on the road. The question we need to ask ourselves is, why is it happening here that everybody wants to drink? One, people are idle. Our young people have nothing to do. Two, we need to do a culture change. We were told here, everybody accepts drinking alcohol is okay. You even give stories on how you drank yesterday, and people find it funny. We need to do a culture change. And how are we going to do that, Your Excellency? It is through using our local radio stations to have campaigns, the campaigning against the use of alcohol, whether good or bad, so that people know that there are effects of extra usage of alcohol. Your Excellency, the radio stations, and I want to use this example because I've been a journalist and I know our local radio stations that speak the language that we speak within Mount Kenya are the greatest contributors of our people engaging in alcoholism. I will tell you why. Whatever they discuss on radio brings about engaging our people with stressful activities. Your Excellency, if you listen after every song on our radio station, they are telling our young people, tuma 50 utashinda shilingi 200. Every day our young people are going on with their duties, boda, anapata shilingi 50, anaweka kwa radio. Akiweka kwa radio akose kitu, huyo mtu ameenda kukunywa pombe. And they are conning our people, Your Excellency. So if we also crack on that, because our governors and the enforcement officers in the counties have really fought the betting dens. Now betting and gambling has only been left on radio stations, easily accessible. So I wanted to introduce that. As we fight alcoholism, we also have to fight factors that contribute towards alcoholism. As I wind up, Your Excellency, we also need to do research and find out those areas that do not sell alcohol, like Kijabe. I know there is a village there that does not sell alcohol. We need to do research and find out also how they ended up doing what they do, how are the people there, are very also, you know, can we learn from that area? And as I conclude, we need to introduce alcohol-free zones. Alcohol-free zones, either villages or some areas we say, here we cannot sell alcohol, so that people can choose where they want to live. Right now, we have smoking and non-smoking zones. You can go sit somewhere you don't want to see or to feel anybody smoking. Can we have also alcohol-free zones or alcohol-free villages whereby if you want to bring up your family there, if you want to bring up your children there, you can have a choice of where you want to go. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and that is my contribution.
Thank you, Senator. Can we have Bishop Paul Wanjoy? I think we are moving towards the end. Bishop?
Thank you. On behalf of the clergy who are here, we want to appreciate that we have been involved in this meeting to deal with this dragon, this menace. And we have this to say, just the way the CS Interior said, that the way we have the challenge of cattle rustling and also the bandits, alcohol should be declared as an urgent problem, na tuwe tunaiombea vile tunaombea cattle rustlers. Number two, we feel as the clergy, this problem is more spiritual than it is in the physical. Because you see a man or a woman who is working very hard, kutafuta ujira wa watoto wake, saying that my children are my tomorrow. But you see, wanaenda kukunywa na yeye. So from today, we are in agreement. When you hear us pray against illicit brews, na hata ulimi ukiteleza tuobe pombe zote, we allow us to do that because we have felt it is a big problem. Then number three, and very important, we have this to request, Your Excellency, that the church to be involved in all stages of trying to deal with this menace, all the way from the first stage up to the last stage. What we mean is this, during the licensing, kuenda namna hiyo, all the way to dealing with the people who are operating this illicit brew illegally. Then almost close to the end, we are willing to have our churches as rehabilitation centers, such that wale watu ambao tayari wameingia kwa mihadharati and they have gone to the local bottom, we are willing to partner with the government to do that. And we must appreciate the governor of Nyeri who has already allowed us to use the centers together with as a center to rehabilitate these people. Finally, we want to request that which is already in black and white, like no pub, no club should operate near a school, kindly let it be enforced, na hata tuogeze isikaribie kanisa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bishop. And next is Bishop Barnabas Kenya.
Your Excellency, first and foremost, I want to thank you for this wonderful initiative. The truth remains that we have been fighting this demon of drunkenness. Na tumeanza hiyo initiative kupitia our patron, na jambo ambalo tunafanya ni kwamba tunaita hawa watu, tunaongea na wao, tunawaambia washe pombe, na tunawauliza kwa nini wamekubali kutumia hii pombe, na wametuambia wengi sana ni kukosa ajira. It is as a result of frustration. I want to agree with a number of speakers, Your Excellency, who have said that we needed to do a lot of research. We come with a lot of ways on how we can do away with this menace at hand. I agree, and I know, Your Excellency, you have come up with this initiative of this Ajira. We have computers in our technical and vocational colleges, whereby our youth, the young people, can go and get the skills, the knowledge, because it is not only arresting them, some of them when they go to these cells, they become more radical than before. So what we are requesting today is that we come up with the government can partner with the church in this fight. We come up with different methods. We do a lot of research, and then we assist our people. And I know this menace will come to an end at a certain juncture. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's hear from our law enforcers, Chief Inspector Wainaina. Where is Chief Inspector? He's probably disappeared somewhere. Oh, there you are.
Your Excellency, Honorable Rigathi, our Deputy President, Minister for Interior, and all protocols observed. Good afternoon. Chief Inspector Wainaina, OCS Kiambu. And on behalf of my fellow OCSs, I want to affirm our commitment in fight against the menace within our region. But when we are dealing with this menace, we also want to give our challenges that we face when we are enforcing the same. First of all, is the issue of licensing, which is done entirely or largely by the county government. On a very serious note, when this
Zenge amonga ayo nazwa ya kubabu wao yeye ya andika inox Zenge na kuna tulei baika Boy akienda kumpa chairman habari zangu. David mkoa na sisilia David mkoa. Akaenda. Boy akaenda. Twende dogori. Twende. Oke dogokwa. Boy kuna mkaoni. Suo mwana mzee Mzenge kumbe mbo Mtende umasi Niyo umasi Mzingani station kwa kwa favor Asante sana. Ndio kuna ile siku tena leo ndio kuna ile ndio hapo atuma yes station kwa badala kuzidi asante sana. These are the reasons. Yeah, kumi ni tatu ni kwa rubbish tena. Go around. Yeah. For this session, the silent 25 kilograms. Thank you very much. Very good. Sasa